What if the next huge scientific breakthrough didn't come from some high-tech lab, but from a local community solving its own problems? Well, today we're heading to Brazil to look at an organization that's making that happen. It's an incredible story about empowerment, community, and totally redefining what it even means to be a scientist. It's a really powerful question, isn't it? I mean, when the people who are creating solutions don't actually reflect the communities they're supposed to be for, what gets missed? What crucial knowledge just gets lost in the shuffle? This is the big challenge we're going to dig into today. So, to really get what the Mancala Institute is trying to do, we first have to understand the problem they're up against. And that takes us to the state of science in Brazil right now, which you can kind of think of as a deeply unbalanced equation. People often talk about a leaky pipeline, and that's exactly what's happening here. We're seeing more Black and Indigenous students getting into science, which is great, but they hit all these barriers that stop them from ever reaching leadership roles. And this isn't just about fairness. It actually holds back the country's science, limiting its creativity and its ability to solve real-world problems. And if you want to see it in black and white, well, here are the numbers. The data is pretty stark. White researchers hold about 2/3 of all master's and doctoral degrees. That's not just a statistic. It's a picture of a massive structural imbalance that needs to be addressed. But here's the hopeful part. In response to this huge challenge, something new is starting to grow. So let's talk about the mission of the group at the center of this change, the Mancala Institute. Okay, so what is the Mancala Institute? At its heart, it's a nonprofit, but with a really specific, laser-focused goal. They look at science and tech not just as subjects you study, but as powerful tools you can actually use to take apart social and racial inequality. And this is what I think is so brilliant about their whole philosophy. This isn't about some outside group coming in to fix things. Nope. It is all about empowerment. The whole idea is to give people from these underrepresented groups the tools they need to be the agents of change in their own communities. So you might be asking, how do they actually do that? Well, they do it with their main initiative, which is a really cool and innovative model for change called the Mukengi Program. The word to focus on here is protagonists. See, this program isn't about training people to be lab assistants or just data collectors. It's about creating leaders, researchers who are the main characters in their own stories, developing solutions from the inside out. Their model is built on 3 pillars that all work together. First, they provide serious training in science and new methods. Then, and this part is key, they move to applied research, where that training gets put to use solving real problems on the ground. And finally, it's all wrapped up in continuous mentorship and support. It's a complete system for building a totally new kind of scientist. Okay, so we've got the structure, but what makes this whole thing so different when you see it in action? Let's take a look at what science for the people really truly means. This phrase, it's so simple, but it says everything about their philosophy. It just completely flips the old, traditional way of doing science completely on its head. Think about it for a second. The old way is an academic comes in from the outside, studies a community, writes a paper, and then leaves. Here, the researcher is a member of the community. They have that deep, lived-in knowledge, they have trust, and they have a personal stake in finding a solution that works. That's how you get things done that have real legitimacy and make a direct impact. And hey, this isn't just a bunch of nice ideas. These are real projects that have come out of this model. You've got Onde Tem Fome, which means where's their hunger, a whole system for tracking food insecurity. And Reciclo, a platform for the circular economy. These are actual tools built by and for Indigenous, peripheral, and Quilombola communities, which, by the way, are historic settlements founded by people of African descent who escaped slavery. This work is, it's clearly transformative. But to keep going, it needs support. And that brings us to our last section, how we can all be a part of building this more inclusive future. To keep this engine of innovation running and growing, sustainability is absolutely everything. The Mancala Institute is looking for long-term partners who can help them scale up their impact, not just in Brazil, but maybe even internationally. And they're not thinking small. They have this really bold, clear vision for what's next. We're talking about a comprehensive 10-year strategic plan for the Mukengi Program, running from 2026 all the way to 2036. So, what would that support actually do? Well, it goes right to the heart of the mission. It's about making the Institute sustainable for the long haul, funding more community led research projects, turning the best pilot programs into permanent solutions, and, so important, creating local jobs and income. At the end of the day, supporting the Mancala Institute isn't just about helping out one organization. It's an investment in a whole new way of doing science, a new paradigm that's more inclusive, more grounded in place, and a lot more focused on social justice. And that really leaves us with a final thought to take away. The work they're doing challenges all of us to imagine a different kind of future. Just think about it. What amazing solutions, what new discoveries, what kind of better world could we build if everyone, and I mean everyone, gets a seat at the table of science?